Good evening, God bless, and welcome to the very first episode of Fancher's Edge here at TV-47 KWHB, broadcasting out of Tulsa, Oklahoma. I am Tim Fancher, and I'm just so thrilled, honored, and blessed to be able to come in here and talk to all of you about an awesome, sovereign, and loving God we have. In future shows, I'm going to start off with the testimony of the radical ways that God has transformed and changed my life since I learned how to enter into a dynamic, loving, and intimate relationship with Him, put Him first in all things, and trust in all things. We have some great shows coming up. We're going to have everyone from singer-songwriters to professors to leaders. My very first show, I'm so pleased I have Camille and Haley Harris of the First Love Band. I'm going to be talking about them a little bit later. My second show, I have my pastor, Pastor Jim Burkett of Southwood Baptist, and we're going to have a conversation that's going to be the beginning of a series of conversations asking the tough questions in apologetics. That is, why does God let bad things happen? And I'm going to go ahead and announce for my third show, because I'm so pleased as a current seminarian at ORU that we've got the president of ORU, my president, Dr. Mark Rutland, coming in here for the third episode. But I'd like to go ahead and start out tonight talking about something God did in my life only 3 weeks ago. Despite the fact against just overwhelming odds, I'm standing here hosting Fancher's Edge. I'm almost halfway done working my Master's of Practical Theology at ORU. I live in a great house with an awesome roommate. I'm surrounded by people that love me, but yet this past summer was actually the worst summer of my life. It started off with an emotional heartbreak. I was just devastated to lose someone out of my life and going separate ways. And as a result of that, it manifests itself in a number of other ways because I began to make a series of bad decisions. I isolated myself from my family, my friends, my loved ones. My church attendance fell off, my prayer life fell off, and I realize now I actually fell out of the will of God. And it was the first time the definition of hell as being forever separated from God really sunk in. It was such a dark 3 months. I began to come out of it, though, slowly, because unbeknownst to me, hundreds and hundreds of people were praying for me. And that's the thing, is that once you enter into that relationship with God, once you are part of the body of Christ, you are never alone. Not only is God always with you, but you're going to have so many people propping you up and raising you up. But as I said, I was slowly kind of starting to come out of it. And about 3 weeks ago, it was a Friday before our fall break at ORU. And I woke up that morning and I just felt different. I had gotten used to waking up with a sense of depression, anxiety, grief, betrayal, anger, you name it, and I was feeling it where I didn't even want to get out of bed. But it was different. There was something wrong. I went ahead and toughed it out, and I went ahead and I went to class, and I went to chapel, and I came home, and I just still felt that weird sensation that I could not articulate. And I tried to study. Nothing was sticking in that frame of mind. So about late afternoon, I went to the gym, and even in the gym, I couldn't get into it. And I love the gym. I love working out. That's my environment. I'm focused. I'm very intense when I'm in there. I'm driven. Even all the mental tricks I know, I could not get myself into that mindset. So I come home from the gym, still feeling this way, and right as I come home, my roommate was getting ready to go next door to the neighbors for dinner. And our neighbors are fellow seminarians, and I was invited, but as I continued to do, I just isolated myself and stayed in. So I thought to myself, well, I might as well be a good roommate. I've got the house to myself. I'll clean it up. Well, as I began to clean, it hit me what was going on. I was agitated, but it was a different kind of agitation than I've ever felt before. It was emotional, it was physical, and it was spiritual. It was like this unholy trinity of agitation that was just tearing me apart from the inside out. And as I began to vacuum, I looked over at what I call my prayer chair. My sister had given me a bunch of antique furniture a few years ago, and this one chair, there was just something about it, and I designated it as my prayer chair, my time with God. And in future shows on Fancher's Edge, as we talk about some of the things that happened that absolutely were God all day long, they were a result of the hundreds of hours I put in that chair talking to Him. But as I looked over it, I realized I haven't even sat in that chair in all this depression over the past 3 months. And I thought, you know what, Tim, you're a seminarian, act like it, get in the chair. So I shut off the vacuum cleaner, I get in the chair, and I begin to pray. And within moments, it hit me what was happening. That even though this person, I still care for her deeply. I want the best for her. I've been praying for her, and I've been praying for her to also to forgive me and to have some level of peace in her heart, because I wasn't innocent either. But even though I was praying these blessings, I had never once sought to actively forgive her. And I realized right then the bitterness in my chest, these rocks and these thorns in my chest from all these emotions, were coming from this sense of bitterness because I had not sought to forgive her. And then I remembered something a lady who's like a second mom said to me: if you honestly feel like you can't forgive someone, ask God to forgive them for you and ask to receive that blessing. So I began to cry out to God to just let me forgive her and just move on. And right then it came on me so strong: get on your knees. Now, like I said, that I've spent so much time in that chair, and I've never once felt that. And it was so powerful. You can bet in a millisecond I was on my knees, nose pressed armrest of that chair, crying out to God. And as I went deeper and deeper in my prayer, after a while, all I was saying was forgiveness, 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 Jesus, 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 sometimes her name, sometimes other thoughts, but just forgiveness and Jesus. Now, I've never prayed like that before. Even though I'm somewhat new to some aspects of the Christian life and being a Christian, but I believed in God for a long time, and I prayed for a long time, but I've never prayed for kind of an emotion and an action rolled into one like that of just forgiveness. And like I said, I was so deep in that prayer, I'm not being dramatic when I say I lost track of time. My legs fell asleep. That's what kind of brought me back in the earthly realm, was my legs were asleep. So I got up and I kind of shook out my legs, and I felt different. I felt kind of loose. Now, I didn't look out in the backyard and see angels swooping all over the place in ecstasy and joy because I finally got it through my head what was wrong. I didn't hear harp music or anything dramatic like that, but I knew something was different. Well, I went to bed after I cleaned up the house. The next day, I had dinner plans, and it was kind of a big deal. That was one of the first social things I had done in almost 3 months because, like I said, I've been kind of being a little more social and coming out at ORU. Well, we met for dinner. We had a lovely dinner, lovely conversation, and she said, well, do you want to go get frozen yogurt? So we go to the frozen yogurt store, and we're sitting out front on a little bench, and after about 20, 25 minutes, and I kind of had a sense something was coming because it seemed like an awful lot of people were paying attention to me and smiling to me and talking to me, but I had no idea what was about to happen. Suddenly, I felt a hand on my shoulder, and I looked up, and I see this middle-aged lady looking down at me, and she was uncomfortable. She was nervous. She did not want to be getting ready to say whatever she was going to say. And I said something like, "Can I help you?" And she said, "I'm so sorry to bother you. I don't even know if you're a believer, but I felt very strongly led by the Lord. God told me he had a message for you, and God said that he needed you to have this." And with that, she handed me this. Now, on the front, there's a picture of Jesus holding up a guy, and my pastor's wife actually pointed out, he kind of looks like me. I'm normally a jeans and t-shirt kind of guy. But on the back, in bold, it says forgiveness. And underneath that are words on forgiveness and 2 Corinthians. When she handed that to me, I shut down. The enormity of what God had just done, I didn't hear what she was saying. My friends and family have been teasing me. They said they finally found something that'll make me shut up because I didn't talk for 30 seconds. And after about 30 seconds, as I'm just staring at the words forgiveness, I finally looked up. She was still apologizing, and that is key to this story. This is not a lady who runs around giving out tracts and cards all day. She was uncomfortable, but thank God, and God bless her, that she was obedient and gave me this message. And she was still saying, "I don't know if you two are believers." And I said, "Ma'am, we're both in seminary. We're certainly believers. I doubt I'll ever see you again. So all I can do is just say, bless you. This is a life changer for me." And what this tells me are a couple of things. One, God loves me so much that he let me fall out of his will, but he waited for me. He loved me that much. He waited for me to come back. And the other thing is, God gets involved in the smallest things. How awesome, sovereign, and loving is our God. And he'll tailor things to you. And he knows my style. He knows my storytelling style. And I even think with Fancher's Edge coming up, he knew I needed a big, radical, smack me upside the head kind of thing like this to help me get it through my head that I finally was back in his will because I got down on my knees that night and I asked him to help me to be able to forgive. How awesome is our God to do something like that? And that's the thing. Once you've accepted Jesus into your heart, once the Holy Spirit is at work in your life, once you have that intimate, loving relationship with God, you are never alone. You're never alone. He's got your back. God has your back. If he'll do something like this for me, if he'll raise me up to be able to get to come in here and talk to you out of TV-47 on Fancher's Edge about how awesome our God is, he'll do anything for anybody. All you have to do is just put your faith and trust in him. And as I did, I made a lot of mistakes, but he loved me so much, he waited for me. Well, when I wrote about this, I wrote an essay about it. I called it God's Whammy Moment in Forgiveness, and I can't think of a better way to articulate it. Well, thank you so much for listening to my first testimony here on Fancher's Edge. On the other side of the break, we're going to have Camille and Haley Harris. I'm so pleased to have them in here. A fellow seminarian named Marielle played me their music back in the spring, and within 30 seconds, I was almost tearing up. Their music was so beautiful, I knew it was of God. And whenever she said they're 17 and 19 years old, they're so plugged in, and that's divinely inspired music. So that's why I wanted to have them come in, because their music also helped to bring me out of some of that darkness, and that's why I've selected them as our first guest. So Camille and Haley Harris, along with their father David of the First Love Band, will be on the other side of the break here on Fancher's Edge, KWHB TV 47. Thank you and God bless. I am Tim Fancher with Fancher's Edge. I'm a seminary student at ORU working on my Master's of Practical Theology. And each week here on KWHB TV-47, we're going to talk about God in a down-to-earth conversational way with a wide range of guests. And we're going to talk about what an awesome, sovereign, loving God we have. And if you're interested in knowing more about Fancher's Edge, you can find us at fanchersedge.com or facebook.com/Fancher's Edge. And I'll be looking forward to talking to all of you in future shows about what a great God we serve.
Hello, we're First Love Band, and I'm Camille.
I'm Haley.
And we are singers, songwriters, and
sisters.
And we write a lot of songs for Jesus and fun stuff. So this song is called Want You Back. And the Lord just gave it to me one day out of the blue and just started playing these chords, and then God just dropped it on us. So here it goes. As the thoughts twirl around in my head, I'm remembering every word that you said. I want you back with me. As I wait by the hospital bed, watching the meter holding on to your hand, I want you back with me. I want you back so I can breathe. As I'm praying on my knees, asking God if He would please give me one more day with you. All that's left is to believe that your eyes again I'll see. Caught in a dream, I see you smiling, choosing to stay in the heavenlies. Still I want you back with me. I want you back so I can breathe. As I'm praying on my knees, asking God if He would please give me one more day with you. All that's left is to believe that your eyes again I'll see. And I know that I want you, maybe selfishly, and I may never understand why you had to leave. But as I'm praying on my knees, asking God if He would please give me one more day with you. All that's left is to believe that your eyes again I'll see. I'll be with you. Ooh, you'll be with me. Oh, someday soon I'll be with you. Ooh, I'll be with you. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4.
There's only one way, a beautiful creature, an angel of song, a voice like no other, heaven's favorite one. But all this was ended with one single choice, when he looked at his beauty and raved at his voice. So don't be like Lucifer, who gave it all, traded for the mirror, so beautiful. And don't take your eyes off the master, around the corner there's disaster, maybe eternal.
An outcast of heaven, a poser of light, trying to be equal with the giver of life. So if you were wondering just which road to take, you should probably be aware just what's at stake. So don't be like Lucifer, who gave it all, traded for the mirror, so beautiful. And don't take your eyes off the master, around the corner there's disaster, maybe eternal.
Father of lies, Lord of the flies, forever he'll be, hater of all, king of the fall. He soon will bow his knee. Oh, don't be like Lucifer, who gave it all, traded for the mirror, so beautiful. And don't take your eyes off the master, around the corner there's disaster. Ooh.
There's only one way, there's only one way, are you serving the devil or serving Yahweh? There's only one way, there's only one way, are you walking in the night or walking in the day? There's only one way, there's only one way, are you serving the devil or serving Yahweh?
Only one way, one way, one way.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for coming on this
Thank you.
first airing. So I knocked your guitar. That was wonderful. I'm so pleased. This is Camille and Haley Harris and their father, First Love Band. I'm Tim Fancher with Fancher's Edge, and I'll see you on the other side of the break. Thank you so much, and thank you, ladies. I am Tim Fancher. I'm a seminary student at Oral Roberts University, and here on Fancher's Edge, each week we're going to be talking about what an awesome, sovereign, loving God we have in a down-to-earth, conversational, and practical way. Each week I'm going to have a wide range of guests from singer-songwriters, professors, leaders, and many more. If you're interested in finding out a little bit more about Fancher's Edge, about what we have, and there's going to be everything from Welcome back to Fancher's Edge. I'm Tim Fancher, broadcasting out of TV-47, KWHB here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I am so thrilled and honored to have Camille and Haley Harris of the First Love Band. Welcome to Fancher's Edge, you two.
Thank you.
Your music has been so moving towards me, and I've had several people ask me why I wanted you on the show, and I talked about it earlier, but ever since my friend played it for you, I just felt like you were just so plugged into God, especially at 17 and 19 years old, to be able to play such music. So it's so wonderful. And you're really in the starting stages of your career at this point, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yes. In fact, you're still, Haley, you're still in high school, right?
I am.
Yes.
I'm senior though.
Yes.
So, yay.
Tell them how old you just turned.
Oh, I just turned, I want to say 20, 18. She's 20 in January.
No, I'm 19 now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, and so I guess, have you been playing music your whole life then? I mean, at what, it's kind of a standard question, but I am curious, at what point was it that moment of, wow, God gave us a gift? Has it just always been there?
Oh, let's see. You tell your story and I'll
For
tell
me,
mine.
it was 13, actually. Okay. So it wasn't too long ago. I was singing in the kitchen, and my dad founded me or whatever found me.
Discovered.
And he called all the relatives, and he's like, you gotta hear her sing. And
Sing to the radio.
So it's embarrassing for a while, But then, like when she was 10.
Yeah, when I was 10, my dad had me in the kitchen, same kitchen, playing guitar, and so I started writing songs. But at 7 years old, we had like a family powwow. We were all praying and singing and stuff. And Dad was like, "What do you guys hear from God?" And like I felt like I heard from God that I was going to be a singer. And so that was 7, and I was like, yeah. So that was pretty amazing. And so at 7, I heard that, and then I just kept singing, I suppose. And then 15, started writing songs around 15. 12, 15, yeah.
Well, and I think that's what's so amazing, because I think that sometimes people misunderstand what Christian music is all about, and I think that you just keyed on it, that you knew you had a gift, but you were still looking to God of, is this what I'm supposed to be doing? And then from there, just the beauty and all the passion and the lyrics and so forth comes out. And like I said, it's just such God-inspired writing, and I think that that's really key, and I think that's why your music has resonated and will continue to resonate. And so at this point, I know I have two discs of yours, but officially, what all have you put out, and then unofficially? So where are you in this part in your career with First Love Band?
Just about to put out everything on CD Baby or iTunes. And so we're called First Love Band.
Right.
Kind of interchangeably right now. And
Well, the
so
thing was that everything online had to be banned because everything First Love was taken. So,
Yeah.
But we are First Love. Our website is firstloveband.com though, and
Right.
everything
Well,
else.
there's always, you always see on the different music shows about, it seems like it's either people think of their band name like that or they agonize for months. So
Right.
what was the process of coming to that? How long have you officially been First Love Band?
oh my goodness, I don't know. How
Good
long?
question.
Well, we recorded the CDs. We have a Christian and we have like a country pop, inspirational, family, love,
Right.
CDs. And so we recorded them, March to like June, July. And so before that, we'd been singing these same songs for probably a year, 2 years, and writing all along as well. And so probably 2 years, we thought of the name First Love, and it just kind of came up. I don't even know. It just was like First Love. That's the name. You know?
It's perfect. Now, talk to me about the 2 songs that you performed earlier. I was so pleased whenever I said, because you were asking me, what do you want for the show? And I say, what do you want? Well, just with, and that was wonderful and very consistent with the vibe I had from you, of just that very wonderful, loving, what's everyone else going to like? But it seemed like both of those songs really have some stories behind them, and it just so happened those were the 2 I really clued in on. So tell us a little bit about those 2 songs.
Oh, I'm really excited about them because the song Lucifer, like, people that don't seem like they would like a stronger song really like it. Like even like quieter people are like, I like that song Lucifer. And I was like, wow. So Haley wrote how many poems?
Yeah, about 400.
400
I
poems.
knew it was some crazy amount.
Yeah, and so she's
Yeah.
a poet, and
I
I
like
write
writing.
a lot of songs, and she helps me finish all my songs pretty much. And so she's like, no, that's not good. Put this there. She'll add something, and she'll make her own songs as well. And so we kind of go back and forth. But she wrote this poem, and Dad said, hey, Camille, how about you start making Haley's poems, since they're already like done, into songs. And so I just prayed, and God just started giving it to me, and it just came out. And then I added the chorus, and it was.
Well, and it was very, and I was talking to your dad before the show started too, that it was very consistent, I think, with the theme of Fancher's Edge, that it's a little bit grittier with the lyrics, but we have to look at, in order to understand, to walk in the light, we have to also recognize the darkness and know how to prepare our hearts for it. And we can do that through music, as well as through prayer and studying and things of that nature. And again, that's why I think it's so important. It's more than just the music, but it's the message behind it. And
Right.
that's what's wonderful about it. So tell me about the other song then.
Want You Back?
Want You Back.
I think we lead worship at Jubilee Christian Center in Tulsa. My dad's the pastor, Pastor David Harris, and so, and my mom, of course. And so I think Jimmy Garcia was our bass player, and he showed me these new chords in E. And so I was at home, and I was in Haley's room, and I was like, what does this sound like, Haley? And like somewhere in the songwriting process, either before or in the middle, we always pray. We're like, Jesus, give us the right words, help us come across the right way, and just help us write it,
Well, it's wonderful. Now, you've already mentioned, as we're kind of wrapping things up here,
Right.
the name of your website then is firstloveband.com.
That's right.
And so they're going to be able to access all
It'll
of your
have
music from there.
soon.
Yes, and
So.
I imagine those of you in the Tulsa area, if you see First Love Band out there, jump on, help out, and support. They're just getting started. We don't really have time, but they even have a tour bus now, which how awesome is that?
Just got given to us, which is amazing.
And is your dad still around here? Is he still handy?
There he is. Parents, they actually have 8 kids.
But thank you again.
So
8 kids,
Yes.
brother.
Wow,
Get
that's
busy.
outstanding.
Get busy.
All right, well, thank you both so much. And,
group hug.
and thank you
This
for
woman had 'em
watching
all
for the
right there.
very
Can you
first
believe that?
episode of
One
Fancher's
woman.
Edge. And may the peace and love of Jesus Christ be with you all. God bless and good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.